That's
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before we begin, I was thinking about this. How do we rank AI in the history of development in humankind, right? It is something that I believe could be extremely startling. It's one issue that I have random people bring up to me on the streets. Some people compare it to the invention of the television or computer or the internet, and I think it's beyond that, because this is something that makes it hard to discern something that you're looking at, a photo, a video, or even words on a piece of paper, if it was actually written or developed by a human. And that is something that I think most people are trying to wrap their minds around. How is this revolutionary technology going to fundamentally change the way we live our lives, the way we interact with one another, the way we interpret information that's coming in? Because when you can't discern what is actually created by a person and what is developed by a computer program, then people start questioning all sorts of things. And that's one of the challenges. Maybe that's a philosophical challenge, maybe it's a real life government regulatory challenge, but it's something that really, I think, is at the heart of it, when people start to question what is real and what is not. But I recognize AI has a lot of great potential, everything from predicting new variants of COVID to detecting certain types of cancers that doctors miss. The potential is staggering. But people want guardrails on this new technology. If not, it can and will be misused. When I first got elected, somebody ran a test of members of Congress, and there was I think it was about 28 of us that got matched with people that had committed crimes. And this was under the best circumstances. They were using our photos from our websites that were taken with the best lighting and the best quality. So AI has the potential also to have inherent bias built into it, and it often disproportionately impacts people of color, women, and that is a concern. So how do we address those limitations on AI? How do we safeguard against the violation of people's civil liberties? And this is something that even when Mark Meadows was on this committee, him and I and others agreed that this was a problem. We just couldn't figure out a solution. Ms. Hickok, how can Congress best help address AI's racial bias? What can we do as a body and the federal government do to protect individual civil liberties and, at times, their right to privacy as well?
Thank you for the question, and I'm really thankful that you mentioned the civil liberties, because with AI systems, as I mentioned earlier, we are talking about every single industry and domain that is going to be even further impacted by this. And when we talk about civil liberties and access to resources and opportunities, that spans from anything from housing to employment to education to insurance, loan, to policing and criminal justice decisions and judiciary decisions. My concern is, as AI also, if we don't have the guardrails now, and these systems are embedded in those public sector services as well as private services, that they're also going to be eventually connected. So one erroneous decision from one system is going to be the input to another system, and we're going to completely lock people out of resources and opportunities, and that is going to widen the gap between haves and have-nots, and it is also going to widen the gap within the society that we're all trying to narrow. How can we narrow that? How can we keep these systems accountable? It's really about the people and the organizations and how we use them that we should be focusing on, putting the civil liberties, putting the freedoms and rights at the center of it, and making sure that these systems, the systems that we use, especially that impact the resources and the rights, are built accountably, transparently, replicable. We heard from my co-panelists and witnesses that a lot of the times these systems are opaque. We don't know how they work, and we also cannot replicate the decisions. So you might be denied a credit, you might be denied insurance or a job. It might not be, if you're trying to keep the organization accountable, we will not be able to trace back and keep them liable as well. So we need to make sure from the start, from the very start, from the design data and design stages, that we put these guardrails in place and we keep organizations and the users accountable.
Thank you. And my time has expired, but the question is it too late to put those guardrails on?
It's not at all. In fact, at CIIDP, our students, especially our law students, asked that question last week. Is it too late? Is it inevitable? Has the ship sailed? No, it's not. The humans, organizations, lawmakers, the humans, the users behind it hold the power.
Thank you so much. I yield back.
Thank you, Congressman. I would now